CEO, thank you very much for your remarks. Thank you. May I please invite the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Glen Mashinini, to deliver his address. Chairperson, please.
Thank you, Program Director. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Cwele, and Honorable Deputy Minister of COCTA, Mr. Nel, the Vice Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Ms. Love, and fellow commissioners present, honorable leaders and representatives of the various political parties present here, chairpersons and representatives of fellow Chapter 9 institutions with us, Your Excellencies, the High Commissioners, ambassadors, and members of the diplomatic corps, senior officials of the Electoral Commission present here today, representatives of civil society and faith-based organizations, traditional leaders, business leaders, labor organizations, and various multilateral agencies present here. The Justice Webinar and present with us, members of the Fourth Estate, our media, fellow South Africans, distinguished guests. It is indeed my singular honor to welcome you all to this very important event in the election calendar. Today, as already indicated by the previous speakers, the leaders of political parties which will be contesting the national and provincial elections, but particularly the national elections on the 8th of May, will stand before you and the nation and commit themselves and their parties, their candidates, their supporters to upholding a code of behavior which will ensure that elections are contested as robust as they may feel, but freely, fairly, and in a compliant manner with the rules of the game as we will outline those particular rules. It is worth reminding ourselves that to secure the constitutional democracy and to ensure free, fair, and credible elections is not the business of the Electoral Commission alone. It is everybody's business. It is our responsibility as the citizens of this country, and it is the responsibility of the leaders that are contesting these up-and-coming elections. Distinguished guests, as indicated earlier, the rules are very straightforward. They are derived from our Electoral Act, which its code of conduct is firmly rooted in the founding provisions of our Constitution. As we approach the 25th anniversary of our first democratic elections, I think it is apt that we remind ourselves what we as a country stand for. South Africa is a sovereign, democratic state founded on the following values: the human dignity, the achievement of equality, and the advancement of human rights and freedoms. non-racialism and non-sexism, supremacy of the Constitution and the rule of law. Finally, universal adult suffrage and national common voters' roll, regular elections and multi-party system of democratic government to ensure accountability, responsiveness, and openness. Those are the values that we derive from our Constitution. As we have heard from our Chief Electoral Officer, we have a record number of political parties contesting these elections. And a significant number of these will be contesting for the first time. It is therefore appropriate that we remind ourselves of the key aspects of the Code of Conduct itself, as well as also to take this opportunity to continue our civic education for the public of South Africa as to what is the Code of Conduct. Firstly, the purpose of the Code is to promote conditions that are conducive to free and fair elections, which is characterized by tolerance of political party activity and free political campaigning, as well as open public debate. The Code is as effective from the date of proclamation, which was the 26th of February. And this now remains in force until the announcement of the results. And the Code must be subscribed to by every party candidate who are contesting these upcoming elections. And simply the following is required of them. It is to comply with the Code. It is to instruct all candidates, representatives, office bearers, members, and supporters to comply with the Code. And it is for the contestant and political parties to take all reasonable steps to ensure that all these persons comply with the Code, including their supporters. Further, the Code mandates every party and candidate to publicly state that everyone has a right to freely express their political beliefs and opinions, to challenge and debate the political beliefs and opinions of others, to publish and distribute election and campaign material, to lawfully erect banners, billboards, placards, and posters, to canvass support for their party and candidates, to recruit members for a party, to hold public meetings, to travel and to attend public meetings. In addition, fellow compatriots, every party and candidate must comply, must publicly condemn any action that may undermine free and fair conduct of elections. I would like to repeat this. Every party and candidate must publicly condemn any action that may undermine the free and fair conduct of the elections. And every party and candidate must accept the results of the elections or challenge the results in the courts. Those are the rules, fellow compatriots. And the Code further mandates that every party and candidate must recognize the authority of the Commission and must assure voters of the Commission's impartiality and maintain effective lines of communication with the Commission, and to take all reasonable steps to ensure the safety of all election officials and that no officials are subjected to insults, hazards, or threat by any representative or supporter of that party or candidate. And with regard to the vital role of the media in our constitutional democracy, the Code further mandates every party and candidate to respect the role of the media before, during, and after elections, not to prevent access by members of the media to the public political meetings, marches, demonstrations, and rallies, and to take every reasonable step to ensure that journalists are not subjected to harassment, intimidation, hazard, threat, or physical assault by any of their representatives and supporters. Distinguished guests, today's ceremony takes place on the eve of Human Rights Day in our country. It is a day in which we remember the sacrifices that accompanied the struggle for the attainment of democracy and freedom in South Africa. It is commemorated on the 21st of March because on that day, 59 years ago, the communities of Sharpeville in particular and Langa Township, along with others around the country, embarked on marches to protest against the past laws. 69 citizens were shot and killed by the police in Sharpeville, along with many others in the other parts of the country. As we remember their ultimate sacrifice of those tens of thousands and others over the course of a long struggle for freedom, we pledge ourselves to never again see the denial of our people to human rights, to dignity, and to freedom. As we contest these elections, let us make sure we are at all times respect the rights of others, our Constitution, and the spirit of tolerance, reconciliation, and unity, which underpins our first democratic elections that took place 25 years ago. Remember, in 49 days, this election will be over, but our democratic journey of building a just and fair, equitable, united South Africa will continue. Let us not let our passion for victory in election overpower our passion for democracy. In the words of Indira Gandhi, I quote, "Winning or losing of the election is less important than strengthening the country." I'd like to thank you all for listening and wish all the contestants the best. Thank you.